as you know, today we are going to teach about the healthy skin from the inside out. So first of all, thank you so much for showing up. I'm Dr. PawKamwee, licensed naturopathic doctor here in Arizona. And we have Katelyn. She is a licensed massage therapist and licensed esthetician. There we go. Right, so first of all, before we discuss about any skin issue or conditions, it's really good to learn what is inside our skin. So you have three layers, mainly the epidermis, the outermost layer, and the dermis, and the hypodermis. So the epidermis is where we have everything's going to happen there. So you have different type of cells. So the two main cells that I will talk about is the melanocytes and the keratinocytes, which obviously it's easy to know melanocytes produce melanin. That's what gives us our skin color, the skin pigments. And the keratinocytes, they make obviously keratin as well as lipid. Lipid is known as oil, so you can see the yellow color. All right, so the keratinocyte is actually made in the innermost layer, in the basal cell layer. They are super cool because what they do is they help activate vitamin D, especially if you sit outside in the sun, right? You get the sun and then the skin help activate that process because we as a whole, we cannot make vitamin D. So we either get it through the sun or through supplements.
All right, so we're just gonna go over some of our skin conditions, some of the common ones that can come up in our skin and how that can relate to our gut. So the first one is dull and textured skin. So when we are lacking some of that sebum, like Dr. PawKamwee was talking about, when we're lacking some of those essential nutrients in our skin, it can appear a little bit more dull. It's lacking its natural, smooth, glowy, hydrated texture. So it will kind of appear like over here you can see the skin's kind of flaking off. So pretty much what's happening, like the picture that we just saw, I kind of have a little one over here. So the skin starts out at that bottom layer, and as it moves to the top, it's supposed to slough off. Your skin's constantly coming off. You just can't see it because it's so microscopic, but it's constantly coming off. So as you age, everything kind of slows down a little bit, and so does that process. So your skin is not sloughing off as much as it should, and sometimes that's just lack of exfoliation. Sometimes that is the nutrients not getting to your skin, so you just need a little bit better gut health. You need to be exfoliating a little bit more and training your cells that they can't build up on top. Then we have eczema. So eczema is not contagious, but it is a skin condition where your skin gets really dry, really itchy. Usually it comes in patches. You do see it kind of on the outsides of the arms. It can be pretty much anywhere on the body, but it's not contagious. It can flare up for a little bit, especially with the inflammation, whether that's your food, stress, anything else, it will kind of flare it up a little bit. Moisturizing is going to be great for this. Just keeping your skin nice and hydrated will be the best bet, and then avoiding things that will irritate it, cause more inflammation, like those fragrances, harsh soaps, rough fabrics, textures, that kind of stuff. If your pillowcase is really rough, that can irritate it. Switching out your sheets to maybe like a silk or something might be a little bit more, might help your skin a little bit. So, then we have rosacea. So rosacea, usually it starts out in about your 30s. It is more common in women. So women tend to get it a little bit more. Men tend to get it worse. Sometimes doctors will say I looked into it a little bit, but most of the time it's because men wait. Men be men, and they won't come into the doctor, so they let it get to the point where it's really, really bad, and then they seek the doctor, and then at that point it just appears worse. So sometimes it's just men being men. Sometimes men do tend to get it worse though. But avoiding stuff like stress, Extreme hots and colds will help. Avoiding spicy foods, especially a lot of peppers and those things, can really flare up your rosacea. And then, of course, avoiding alcohol. Alcohol really irritates the skin, really inflames the skin. So avoiding those things will help a little bit. It is a skin condition, so of course it's not going to take it away, but you want to avoid those irritants as much as possible. Then we have acne. So we have non-inflammatory acne and the inflammatory acne. Non-inflammatory acne, it's more so that buildup of dead skin, sebum, all of that stuff being clogged in the pore. Going back to the dull and textured skin, when that skin gets built up on the top, our pores can't breathe out and excrete the oil like it usually does, so it gets clogged up in there and creates those whiteheads and the blackheads. So whiteheads still have that liquid in it, a little bit of that pus, people will say. Blackheads don't have any liquid usually. Those are oxidated cells, so pretty much the cell opened, the air got to it, so it started to dry up. So it's an oxidated cell, or oxidated pore. And so that's what causes the blackhead appearance. The black is not necessarily dirt, it's just more of that oxidated sebum. Then we have milia. Milia gets confused as whiteheads a lot. It is not acne. It is trapped products, trapped oil, trapped skin. So pretty much it starts soaking into the skin. It can't, so the skin will kind of calcify it, make it into a hard little bump. And usually you have to get like a lancet to get that out. You can't sit there and pop it. If you squeeze and squeeze, it will not come out. You do need to kind of get a little nick in it, cut it open. It's not a cut, but just kind of nick it and get it out. Then we have the inflammatory acne. So a papule does not have the pus yet. It's just the raised bump. It's just a little bit red. There's definitely that inflammation there. It's starting to form that pimple. And then like our usual pimple is going to be the pustule. So it does have the pus in it, the liquid. It's definitely inflamed, it's irritated, it's trying to get it up to the surface. And then cystic acne. Cystic acne is very painful, very deep in there. Lots and lots of inflammation with this one. So that one, most of the time, it is hormonal, it is gut related, specifically with the cystic acne. And then aging skin. No one wants to age, but unfortunately it happens to all of us. So aging, it's kind of just that natural breakdown of the skin. So your skin is very resilient when you're younger. Hello, welcome in. No worries, come on in, take a seat. We have water and snacks. So aging skin, it starts to thin out a little bit. The skin starts to sag and droop down. Sometimes you'll get some of those sunspots. So you'll definitely notice that aging starting probably in your 30s. Collagen and elastin, those are the building blocks of our skin. So you will see all of the elastin is kind of the green ones, the collagen's supposed to be the red ones. They're kind of holding up that structure of the skin, and as we age, those start to fall apart and deteriorate, kind of like this one over here. So collagen gives the skin its natural strength and structure. The elastin more gives it its stretch. So we have elastin in a lot of other parts of our body, like our bladder, which can expand and go back. Women, our uteruses have a lot of elastin in it. Lungs constantly expanding, all of that stuff. So collagen and elastin build up your skin, and then over time, sorry, I'm gonna jump around. Okay, over time it does start to deteriorate, and that's when you get those deep wrinkles and all of that. So we have two different types of aging. We have our natural aging, which is intrinsic aging, and then we have extrinsic aging, which is lifestyle, environment, things that we kind of do to ourselves. So natural aging, like I said, the collagen's breaking down, that elastin, the cell turnover isn't as fast. And now with the lifestyle, it is, Dr. PawKamwee is going to go a little bit deeper into how, but just that stress, that lack of sleep when you're having a poor diet, when you're not getting the nutrients, even smoking can really break down the collagen in your skin, and of course UV radiation. And so with the sun, we have two different rays that come down. We have the UVA, UVB. UVB burns your skin. It kind of stays pretty superficial. It doesn't go super deep. It just kind of burns the skin. That is the one that leads to more of the skin cancers, damaging the skin cells. And then we have the UVA, and that one is associated a little bit more with the aging. So that's going a little bit deeper in. It goes deeper into the skin, into the dermis, and then that's breaking down the collagen and elastin. The UVB kind of stays up closer to the epidermis, but then it just kind of destroys those cells and causes a little bit more of the hyperpigmentation, those issues, because it's going down to those melanocytes, like Dr. PawKamwee was talking about. Hormonal imbalances can definitely affect the skin as well. If you're lacking estrogen, whether you have too much or too little, estrogen or testosterone, that can affect your skin a lot. Women, unfortunately, once we hit menopause, your estrogen kind of tanks, and unfortunately that affects your skin quite a bit, affects your collagen as well. So estrogen definitely can affect the skin sensitivity, and then testosterone also affects that skin's oil production, the sebum. When you have a lot of testosterone, you definitely start breaking out more. If you're lacking that testosterone, you will be dry. And then thyroid issues can also cause some of that dryness, sensitivity, discoloration as well.
Alright, so as a naturopath, I mainly focus on treating the gut. So look at what gut has affected our body and then how it's manifested to our skin. And so first thing is the word dysbiosis. That can be confusing or hard to understand. So pretty much inside our tummy, so we have a different layer there. That the first layer is mostly the microbiome. So you have a really good microbiome in that environment that help to protect against anything. So when you have that dysbiosis, meaning you have a lot of pathogen, the bacteria there just overgrow. So that's why you end up having SIBO, something called small intestine overgrowth. And then stress. Stress is another thing that is a huge thing that affected our gut health. And it's just in general. So when your stress hits you really hard, you just feel in your gut. And that can affect it, something called HPX, is the hypothalamus, pituitary, and adrenal gland. So from the brain to your adrenal gland, boom, to your gut health. And it's just so fast. And that it just like make you feel like you don't want to eat, you're just stressing out. And then inflammation is a huge one. So inflammation, how do you get inflammation? Or what is inflammation? So inflammation is where you have that dysbiosis, when you have that stress and everything, it just break down and falling apart, and it inflates, just heat up in the gut. And then, so let's just, for example, just the dysbiosis of the stress, as well as having a bad diet, even not sleeping well, and that affecting those different layers, and start causing just the local inflammation, and then over time chronically, and then affected your system, and that's how you end up getting a leaky gut. You end up having like brain fog, or sometimes you can't recall the words or your children's names or your friend's name. So that's what it affected systemically. And then with the skin, so you have that outbreak in the skin, and then you have that lesion. And then the other effect is the dietary, which is also can cause the gut issue as well, whether it's allergy or you have that nutrients deficiency. So allergy is sometimes you just eat that food, for example, egg, and then you just break out right away. You just know that you have that allergy or you have that sensitivity to it. And then for nutrient deficiency, when it's come to skin health, there are a lot, but I choose the zinc, the vitamin D, and the vitamin A because they are so important for skin health. And then here's the picture, pretty much what I just talked about. So you have that brain, right? The HPA axis, how it is affected directly. And then you have the stress. Choosing a bad diet, that doesn't mean you have to cut off the rest of your life. You can indulge a little bit, but it is so important to know how that affected your gut directly and then impair of that gut barrier. And then, and as I talk about, you have that microbiome, you know, that bug there. So that microbiome, it affected your, as they should supposed to be at that top layer, but they end up causing issue and they end up being in a totally different location. There we go, and then that's how you end up getting like skin inflammation, acne, rosacea, and other stuff. So she did talk about the asthma; those are mainly due to the autoimmune, right? So your body is unhappy with your. Here's this picture that leaky gut. I did talk about a whole class about leaky guts a few months ago, and this one is just one of the example choosing the right diet health for gut health. So healthy diets like the prebiotic, the fiber, or the probiotic, all of those is just so important to help build those layers. And here's the guy that I'm talking about still. So you have those microbiome. They are the first main guy that help fight off anything that you put in your tummy, right? And then you have that mucus layer, the green part, and they are so helpful. They're like soothing. They help protect against the cell. If that layer is gone, like this here, and then you end up having ulcer, like IBD, IBS, stomach ulcer. So that give it a chance for these bad guys to come inside the cell. And then you have these you have different gate, and when those gate doesn't do the job, then it cause issue. And then lastly, you have that immune system. All right. Now, besides gut health, we also look at hormones issue. We have hormonal imbalance, PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, and that is due to having too much testosterone. Obviously, this is a condition that affects only female because male doesn't have ovary. So women in general, we should have high testosterone. We should have more estrogen and progesterone. But in this condition, they end up having more testosterone, and then they also have a lot of insulin resistant, having hard time to lose weight, that obesity, and then they will also end up getting a lot of like skin lesion, acne, and then there's something called hirsutism. So it's usually show up in the chin and then get more hairy and then change the color. And then obviously the insulin resistant, the elevated cortisol, that's pretty much the stress hormone, right? If you have chronic stress, and then if you have sleep deprived, because those are all important to help your body to heal. As you sleep, you feel younger. You should feel younger. You should recover. You should feel rejuvenate. But if we don't get that good night's sleep, it will just switch up, because melatonin is high as you sleep, and then when you wake up in the morning, you're supposed to have high cortisol. So in my office, I do blood tests, both AM and PM cortisol tests to see where they're at. Most of the time we started low and then go up, and that should be normal. And estrogen dominant, a lot of our compounds or our clinic products or even like cosmetic product have estrogen dominant compound or like compound that is very harmful to our body. And then obviously overwashing, repetitively touching the face, popping the pimple. That's something that I love to do, but I always have to tell myself don't do it because our hand carries so much bacteria. So obviously Katelyn would talk more about that. And then here's the picture. Obviously I love picture compared to look at the word, right? All right, so how do we treat the skin, right? Obviously you seek out professional persons like us, hopefully, and when you are having that issue, and then good skin care routines as well as lifestyle. I'm mainly going to talk about treating the gut and lifestyle here. As naturopathic doctor, we focus on treating the root cause because everyone have different root cause. It can be that hormone, or it can be that stress, or it can be due to you don't sleep well, or you have that insomnia, or maybe the gut because you choosing to eat what you want to eat. So we want to heal that from the inside out. All right, so actually I already touched on this already. As a naturopathic doctor, I start from the bottom, identify and establish the foundational health. So we're looking at, are you exercising? Are you eating well? Are you sleeping well? How are your mental emotional health? How are your relationship with others? And how is your even spiritual health? You know, all of those, that is just the main part. And then we move from there on. The next step will be, okay, let's see, do you have hormonal imbalance? Do you have gut issue? Do you have that environmental factor? And then we go on step by step, and then we treat with this and that. Continue with the treatment. For the stress management, everyone de-stress differently. They'll go on a hike or camping or just scream out loud. You can do breathing technique that I usually have people to like kind of breathe in through their nose for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, breathe out through the mouth for 4 seconds. Oh, that's the best way just to help relax that shoulder, relax that muscle, and it's really amazing. It's just a fast one, but sometimes when you carry on that chronic stress, it could be tough just to do that breathing. You need a little bit more. And then the other one is the lifestyle modification. So obviously the first one is movement and exercise. This one is a little bit, could be easy or could be hard for us. It just depends on what you choose to prioritize in your life. You wanted to take a few minutes for your day to exercise, because exercise is really helpful to move that blood flow, to help maybe also gentle detox as well as you sweat. Quality sleep, that is so important. I talk about melatonin and the cortisol. As you sleep at night, melatonin increase between 1 to 3 a.m. in the morning, mainly those times, because it is so important for our body to give that break to heal and to renew. Intermittent fasting is another one that I use it myself, not lately, but it's so important to give a break to our gut, because if you're constantly eating, that gut doesn't have that break, and then they just continue to work, and then there will be more inflammation, there are more dysbiosis. So it's important to do that. And good news is also help lose weight, and beside other things. Cleanse and detox. So the cleanse and detox, I always recommend the dry brushing and the castor oil pack. The dry brushing just help with blood flow, blood moving in our body, as well as the lymphatic flow. And the castor oil pack is mainly helping with, like, you don't swallow it, you put it out in your tummy. It helps with any inflammation, regulate your hormones, and help with releasing that toxin inside the tummy. And then dietary adjustment. This is a really good time to take photo of it, because there are so much good information here. You have that fiber-rich food. I want to touch on that one a little bit, because it helps maintaining, balancing that gut microbiome, the picture that I was just showing a few minutes ago. And then it's also help healing that mucus layer, the green layer that I was talking about. If you don't have that, you're not getting ulcers. So fiber does a good job on that. besides, if you have issue with losing weight, right, and that fiber is picking up that toxin and then eliminate it. That's a really good one, right? And then also zinc is really good for any skin injury. Is one of the best ones. Zinc and vitamin C, those are any wound healing. We have the vitamin A and high proteins, quality protein. Those are all good. Okay, so another one to take photo of these. So balancing hormone, provided is beside helping with the hormone, it's also help with gut health as well. Okay, so you have cruciferous here and omega-3 fatty acids. So it doesn't have to come from the fish, it can come from the plant-based if you're the person that doesn't like meat, pretty much. So flaxseed is one of the examples. It have a really good omega-3 beside helping with the gut health. It also help balance out your hormones. Okay, and then liver support, we can't forget that one because liver is one of the main organ to help constantly detoxifying anything. And also low glycemic diet, that is a big word, mainly help. What you do is you eat low sugar and also less carbohydrate, because carbohydrate when you put it in your body it becomes sugar. All right, supplements. So we have vitamin A, the zinc, the probiotic, and the omega fatty acids. By the way, I have a lot of these supplements available here today, and I'm going to have, let's see, I have a tropical treatment with Katelyn will talk more about it, the aloe vera gel, and then nicotinamide is a vitamin B3. So if you're the person that like to take multivitamin, it's a good way to get it. And then as naturopathic doctor, I love to teach about herbs. So the herbs for this topic is melaleucas, known as tea tree oils, mainly originate in Australia. So they use that leaves to make that essential oil. All right, so the two main action for these plants is anti-inflammatory and antimicrobial. Anti-inflammatory is pretty much help reducing that swelling and redness in the skin lesion. The antimicrobial, this one is really cool because it has that component that kill broad spectrum of microbial. So it kills many different type of bacteria. So how does that do is affecting that cell wall, because bacteria cell wall is really thick, and then as it's affected, it's killed that, breaking down that cell wall, they don't have the chance to produce and make more baby, pretty much. So they can't grow. All right, we wanted to be cautious about any essential oil in general, because if you put it directly to your skin, it will irritate. And lesson of the day for myself and you all, don't touch your face because I have that issue.
So some other ways that we can help treat the skin is doing some professional skincare treatments. So the first one is doing deeper exfoliation. So like that first slide that I showed you with the dull skin, that other slide that I showed you that kind of looked like this, that skin comes up from the bottom layer. This is like the living skin. As it comes up to the top, pretty much the skin on the top of your skin, it's all dead skin. It's all sloughing off. It's not living skin as much, but it can get built up. So in between all of your little skin building blocks here, you have these little desmosomes, they're called. So desmosomes are the little proteins that really kind of attach everything together. So if you're thinking of like a block wall, it's the cement in between sticking those blocks together. So sometimes those desmosomes don't necessarily break apart as easy as you get older. They hold on to each other. So when you do a peel, like glycolic or lactic or even mandelic, those peels are breaking those desmosomes apart on the superficial layers of the skin. And so that way your skin can release a little bit easier and slough off. So your skin is constantly sloughing off, but this is kind of just like a little extra boost. So exfoliation is helping boost the skin's natural process of turning over. So like I have up there, peels can definitely help with this. So we have the AHA, which is like glycolic, the lactic, mandelic. Those are all AHAs, so they work by breaking down those desmosomes. Salicylic is different. Salicylic is a BHA, so that's alpha hydraulic acid and beta hydraulic acid. So that's the BHA, the AHA. BHAs, they go into the pore a little bit deeper. Salicylic is oil soluble, and so it can go in and break up that oil, really break up the blackheads, break up the congestion so the skin can get it out. A few other types of exfoliation are microdermabrasion with like the vacuum suction and the grit tip across your face. Pretty much sanding down your face is the easiest way to describe it, but it gets all of that dead skin up with it. Dermaplaning, I don't do that here yet. I am definitely going to offer that in the future. That is the one with the scalpel. You are sloughing off the skin. A lot of people like that one because it gets off the hair as well. A lot of people want it for more of the peach fuzz, getting all of that off. So that's what the dermaplaning is. And then hydrofacial, that is like a microdermabrasion, but it's also injecting the serum at the same time. So those are just some different professional types of exfoliation. And then we have LED. So LED is actually really cool. NASA came up with LED. So when they're up in space, they could also get some wound healing done. Light is very essential to wound healing. And so when we don't have the light in outer space, they came up with LED. So LED stands for light emitting diode. So that it's pretty much very intense light. Lights have different wavelengths. So red actually goes way deeper. It can penetrate deeper into the skin. And so it does actually go down into the dermis, and that is going to attack that collagen and elastin, really help strengthen it. I like to say LED is kind of like the Energizer Bunny for your skin. So it goes in there, it repowers the skin, goes into the mitochondria of your cell, really gives it that energy boost that it needs to do its job pretty much. Green goes in and specifically targets those melanocytes like Dr. PawKamwee was talking about. Those melanocytes produce the melanin, so that's going to go in there and kind of regulate it a little bit more. And then blue kills all of that bacteria, so it's great for acne. It's very, very superficial. It doesn't go in deep, so it's pretty, like I said, superficial, but pretty surface level there. And then these are a little bit more intense treatments. So I do have a microcurrent device here. I use the New Face device. I can show you that in a minute. But we do have IPL and laser treatments. These are going to be like when you go into the med spa, going a little bit deeper. IPL stands for intense pulse light. That one, it is more for the broader skin issues. So not necessarily like, oh, I have this one spot here. It's more like, hey, my whole skin kind of needs a pick me up. So IPL is more for the generic stuff. It stimulates the collagen in your skin, but it's not going as deep as laser. So laser does not just mean laser. Laser actually means light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. So laser is actually an acronym for all of that. It's not just laser pointers. So laser is a little bit deeper. It will need that downtime. You can't get a laser treatment and then go out to the beach the next day. Your skin will be a little bit more irritated. It will be a little pink, probably. It kind of gets a sunburn look to it because you're pretty much zapping your skin. It is burning it just in a different way. So laser can be very, very effective for your skin, but I don't do any of that here. That's more going to a med spa. Most of the time that's with a nurse practitioner, but that's more on the extreme end of professional treatments that you can do. And then microcurrent, like I said, that one, it is pretty much like a workout for your face. So your facial muscles are attached directly to your skin. The muscles in my leg They attach to other bones, ligaments. They do not attach to my skin. The facial muscles, they attach directly to your skin, so you can raise your eyebrows, you can smile. It pretty much shapes your face. So when you are using the microcurrent on your skin, it will actually tighten and tone the skin as well because the muscles are attached to your skin. Then we just have some healthy skincare tips. We both kind of touched on most of these, but eating a diet that really helps support your skin, getting all those good nutrients in your diet is really going to be the best for your gut. And then, like we were saying, that connects to your skin and the inflammation. Also, washing your face at the end of every single night, whether you're sitting in your home all day on your couch, there's still pollutions in your house, there are still irritants in your house, so you definitely need to be washing your skin every single day. And washing the things that go on your skin, whether that be makeup brushes, your cell phone right up against your face, your pillowcase that you're laying on every single night. Definitely washing those often and switching them out. That will be your best bet for keeping that bacteria off of your face. Drinking enough water to support that hydration in your body. Then, like we said, do not touch your face. Your hands are so disgusting. I'm sorry. You might be clean, but your hands are gross. We just touch so many things throughout the day. Even like touching door handles. I always think of my steering wheel on my car. It's like, how often do you wash your steering wheel? So it's like all those things just build up that bacteria, and then if you go into touching your face immediately, you're just spreading that bacteria and potentially causing more acne and irritation. And then managing your stress, your sleep. Like we were saying, when you sleep, that's a lot of when your body does a lot of its healing, so you can't get that proper healing if you aren't getting your proper sleep. Then real quick, this is just kind of a good skincare, good things to use in your skincare routine. So I kind of put the routine over there. Obviously you don't have to mask and do all of that every single day, but covering everything in your routine, getting a good cleanse, getting that all of the surface dirts and debris off your face, and then going in with a good exfoliant, whether that be the chemicals, the microdermabrasion, even like a gritty exfoliant, something like that, getting all of the dead skin built up off. Masking, going in with those good nutrient products, treating the skin with your serums, eye creams, and that stuff, moisturizers, and then applying your SPF every day. And then if you guys want to take a picture, you definitely can, but these are just some of the products that help specifically with those skin conditions. If you are really dehydrated, you want to get a lot of the ceramides, the glycerin, the hyaluronic acids. With brightening, vitamin C is a great product for brightening. Niacinamide, vitamin B3, that one's a great one at brightening and nurturing the skin. We went over the exfoliation quite a bit already, so like I said, the salicylic, great at the acne. The rest of those are the AHAs to help just with that skin sloughing off. And then anti-aging, a lot of retinols are really good. Barcutriol is actually the nature's retinol, we like to say. It's more of a natural product, but it mimics pretty much what retinol does, really helps with the skin aging, helping with the sunspots, and just overall skin health. And then if we're a little bit more inflamed, like Dr. PawKamwee said, the aloe helps so much. Tea tree oil, green tea, and colloidal oatmeal also has a lot of research on being very calming for the skin.